evening. Hello and welcome. You're watching The Right Stand here on CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. Congress is replicating its Karnataka model with an eye on success in every state that has elections now. We saw something similar happen when they released the manifesto for Madhya Pradesh. The elections happened today. Now they want to do exactly that in Telangana, which goes to elections later this month. Today, the Grand Old Party released its manifesto for Telangana. It goes to elections on the 30th of this month. From 2,500 rupees monthly financial assistance to women to 200 units free electricity for all households. The Congress party in Telangana has raised the bar on manifestos, many would say. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge declared that the 6 guarantees that form the backbone of their manifesto and of their plan in Telangana. He also promised that those 6 guarantees will be implemented in the first cabinet meeting itself if they are voted to power in the state. Here's a quick glance of what these 6 guarantees are made by the Congress party. It's a similar lines as far as Karnataka is concerned. Mahalakshmi scheme, this is for women. 2,500 per month to women, gas cylinders at 500 rupees, free travel for women in state buses. This is something, like I said, on the lines of what they promised in Karnataka. The Raitu Bharosa scheme, 15,000 rupees per acre to farmers, 12,000 per year to agricultural labour and a bonus of 500 rupees of paddy per quintal. This is as far as farmers are concerned. Now for households, electricity is also of key focus for the Congress party. 200 units free electricity for all households is what they have promised. There is another scheme that has come to the fore as far as housing, an affordable one, and that is concerned. Housing site for families with no house is going to be provided by the Congress party if they are voted to power. 5 lakh rupees for construction of this house. 250 square yards house site for activists in Telangana is also something that the Congress is promising. Next up is a guarantee for the youth of the state. Financial assistance card of 5 lakh rupees to all students across the states. That is what they are promising. International schools will also be built in every mandal. That is a promise that the Congress has made in Telangana. Next up, we have for the elderly, pension of 4,000 rupees per month to all senior citizens in the state. There is going to be a health insurance for senior citizens for the elderly that is going to be put in place as well, worth 10 lakh rupees. These are the 6 guarantees that Congress has promised in the state of Telangana. Now let's take a look at how exactly they are going to bring in these promises, because where is the money? Telangana government's debt has increased manifold since the state came into being. Union's finance minister has told the parliament that Telangana's debt has gone up from 75.5 thousand crore rupees in 2013 to 3.2 lakh crore in 2023. That is an 300% increase. You can see the graph from 2013-2014 when the state came into being to where we are right now. That is about a 300% jump. If we add more burden to the exchequer, are you just doing this for elections is a question many are asking, including Congress's rivals in the state. Now, Telangana's debt burden is continuing to mount. The total liabilities have moved closer to 4 lakh crore rupees. There's a CAG report that came to the fore a few months ago that has raised questions on the financial health of the state as well. The total liabilities were to the tune of 3.21 lakh crore rupees. It amounted to 24% of the GSDP is what the CAG observed. Here are some of the highlights of the report that came to the fore. The CAG said that public debt and other liabilities had increased by 16% from the previous year. The revenue deficit, 9,335 crore rupees. That was the revenue deficit during 2021-2022. The CAG also observed that the state was borrowing funds and those funds were utilized for debt repayment. So you were taking on more debt to settle your existing debt, and that is a problem. Capital expenditure growth didn't keep pace with the GSDP is also another observation that the Comptroller and Auditor General made. There is excess expenditure in health, Panchayati Raj and irrigation. Whether that is because there was some mismanagement as far as budget allocation and the actual expenditure was concerned, or whether it was just not calculated enough, whether the state government was spending more just for welfare, that is also something that the CAG had observed. All parties, included the BRS, the BJP, have made certain promises to woo the voters in the state. But is this about welfare or is this merely to catch votes? Something that could come at the expense of the state exchequer. That's the big debate tonight.
ये गारंटी आपको दे रहे हैं। जैसा कर्नाटक में हम 5 गारंटी देकर और वहां के जनता को आज 5 गारंटी का जो डेट दिए थे आज वो इम्प्लीमेंट हो रहा है।
అంటే మళ్ళా గ్యారంటీగా తప్పిపోయి గట్ట మీరు మమ్మల్ని గెలిపిస్తే మిమ్మల్ని గోల్మాల్ చేస్తామని వాళ్ళు ఓపెన్గా చెప్తా ఉన్నారు. మరి గోల్మాల్ వాళ్ళని చేద్దామా మనమైదామా ఆలోచన చేయాల్సింది మీరు అని చెప్పి నేను మనవి చేస్తా ఉన్నా.
Hello, Moto.
Joining me on this broadcast of the Right Stand, Anil K. Antony, National Secretary of the BJP, Krishang Mane of the BRS, and Ram Mohan Reddy, spokesperson of the Congress, joining me on this debate. Thank you, gentlemen, for speaking with us here on this broadcast. And I'd like to begin by asking Mr. Reddy of the Congress Party. We've seen 6 guarantees that have been put forth by your party. You say that first cabinet, all of them will be put in place. They will be implemented as soon as possible if the Congress is voted to power. But as far as Karnataka is concerned, there were several hurdles that were faced by the state back then as well. Are you confident that you are going to be able to deliver on the promise you're making today?
Yes, we are 100% confident that we are going to deliver it 100%. Because see, let me tell you that the implementation of the 6 guarantees is not mission impossible. It is possible. Let me also remind you that before 2014 in erstwhile AP, where all these 70% of these guarantees were covered in our welfare schemes. Let me remind you that. And you know, in this decade time, under the ruling of this BRS government, people lost these welfares. So now we just wanted to revive it and bring back to the people. So what's wrong in it? And we are not in a position that we cannot afford it. See, that is the situation. That is the report card of BRS. In this decade time, you know, they have grown debt just like you told. Like you actually, you know, said like it is around 300% of debt rise. But it is more than 300%. It is almost 600%. It is almost 600%. We are not counting the local bodies and the guarantees given. If all considered, you know, the debt has gone up to above 5 lakh crores. And now, the point which need to be highlighted here is the wastage of money on irrigation projects like Kaleshwaram, which is not yielding a single acre for irrigation. Like, you know, it is not drawing a single drop of water from Godavari basin. We challenged that. We challenged BRS party to come to Medigadda, which recently sank.
Sure. And that is an investigation in that project is also something that you have promised in your manifesto. But Mr. Reddy, I want to ask you this. You just said that I quoted a 300% increase as far as debt is concerned, but it's much more than that. But on the other hand, you're also saying that you can afford this. How can those two go hand in hand? Aren't you just then plunging the state into further debt? Is that a wise financial decision to be made by a party who wants to come to power?
We have given the state into the hands of BRS government with a surplus budget of 18,000 crores. And at that time, we were, you know, fighting for our rightful portion. That is where the agitation rose. And that is how the statehood happened. So now, it is all about the wealth generation as well. When BRS government is not having any idea of generating wealth, just end up going on uprising and debts and, you know, trying to fulfill the promises. And in fact, on ground, these schemes are not even reaching the people. That is the reason we quote this Sarkar as sample Sarkar. If there are like 1 lakh people who are covered under this scheme, only around 500 to 1,000 people are covered. How can we say that the welfare is reaching everyone? No, it is not.
Sure. Krishang Mane, your heart may have been in the right place, but you didn't distribute the wealth properly, which is why Telangana sees the issue it's seeing today, says the Congress.
Well, Poonamji, 65 lakh farmers receive Raitu Bandhu, after which Government of India started a scheme like Raitu Bandhu, after which even West Bengal state government also started a scheme. Neither the Congress, which ruled this nation for decades and decades, or in fact the United Andhra Pradesh for also decades, have never started this. But today, after a successful Raitu Bandhu, Congress in their so-called manifesto announces few more additional monetary amount for it and copies our scheme. Number one, Kalyan Lakshmi, Shadi Mubarak, which is already a successful program which was never there in the government of India, anywhere, any state of India. Telangana has given 1,01,016 rupees for a newlywed young woman, which Congress has copied and announced in its manifesto. Number two, not just these two, even Dalit Bandhu, Congress has copied it and announced in its manifesto. So why would Telangana people need a copycat Congress party when it is already being executed by Chief Minister KCR? Now Congress talks about projects. It is hilarious. The CAG has quoted that the Congress is a Lutera Congress. They have looted on the name of projects even before. Why didn't you construct Pranahita Chevella when you were there in power for 10 years? What were you plucking? Why didn't you do the Palamuru Rangareddy project? You promised national statuses, but you did not even give water. Congress period mein Telangana has seen no water. People have seen water wars. There were water wars for kilometers. People used to walk. Yes, this has been for Congress a mockery. People like Chidambaram come here and say, sorry, few people have died for Telangana. Sorry, not, sir, not few people. Thousands have died of Telangana because of you. Yes, you need to apologize. Madam Sonia Gandhi has to apologize. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has to apologize. The whole manifesto itself is a joke because in Karnataka we are seeing how Mr. D.K. Shivkumar has clearly stated that they do not have funds for development. Congress MLA Chedakshari has stated that because of their so-called warranties or some promises, they could not deliver in the constituencies for development. So Karnataka itself is an example today that Congress's promises are a blunder, flop, failure. Telangana people will not believe what kind of promises. No one has ever given scooties, madam, in this country. So many governments have promised in different state manifestos. Congress also has promised here scooties today. Show me one state government anywhere who has given scooties, but they have kept it in manifesto. That itself is a joke by the Congress party that they are not going to do it. It is a 420 promise. But
promises have been made. But promises have been made on both sides, and I want to get in the National Secretary of the BJP, Mr. Antony, as well. Promises have been made both by the BRS and the Congress. The BJP is yet to release its manifesto. We're hoping that happens tomorrow, and we'll find out what exactly are the promises that the BJP is making for the state. But as far as freebies is concerned, or what the state calls welfare schemes, all parties are equally guilty, isn't it? Because even the BJP in all the other states where we've seen elections happen, including Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, the BJP too has announced several of these schemes. How does it become welfare for one party but a freebie for another?
Thank you for having me in the show. So now there is a lot of hype and euphoria that is created by the Congress party, saying that they are setting new yardsticks as far as manifestos are concerned. But let me make one thing very clear here. If you look at the Bharatiya Janata Party and our performance in the last 9.5 years under our Prime Minister, we have been setting new highs as far as development is concerned and as far as delivery is concerned. At one side, India, as you are all aware, is right now the fastest growing economy. We are almost doubled our GDP in the last 9.5 years. And alongside unprecedented growth and alongside all this capacity we are creating, infrastructure development we are creating, we are also delivering as far as redistribution is concerned. And these are not just, let's say, hyped up numbers. We are having crores of toilets, crores of houses, crores of tap water connections, etc., which we have delivered on the ground. So we are doing both development as well as we are doing redistribution, where we are following our motto, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Vishwas. Then you look at the Congress party, which, let's say, I'm giving you facts on the ground of what the party has been doing before the election and after the election, where in rare cases where the party has come to power. A few months back, maybe a year back, the Congress party won Himachal Pradesh. They had made a lot of promises in their manifesto. For example, they said that they will buy milk for 100 rupees per liter. They will give 300 units of free electricity. They promised rupees 1,500 to 22 lakh women. So these are all some of the promises they made before the election, and after the election they haven't even acted on it. Another is Karnataka, where they promised rupees 3,000 for graduates, rupees 1,000 for diploma holders under a Yuvanati program. They promised 200 units of electricity, and after they have won the elections now, already they have brought it down to 30 to 50 units because of multiple considerations. Last time, Madhya Pradesh, they promised 4,000 rupee unemployment allowance. They had a government for 15 months. They didn't act on it. So you are seeing a party which right now, the Congress party, for a long time, it has set new yardsticks on corruption and scams. And now they are taking it to another level where they are now blatantly scamming the public, where they are announcing different things before the election with zero intention to actually implement it after the elections are over. So at one side you have the Bharatiya Janata Party that is very clearly setting unprecedented growth trajectory. We are delivering what we are promising in development as well as redistribution schemes. We are not against freebies, but we believe in growth and redistribution. We believe in inclusive development. And at the same time, what does the Congress even stands for? First of all, you look at any Congress state in this country. One of the rare examples again where there is a 5-year Congress government, which is Rajasthan. In 5 years, situation has become so bad that right now it is one of the few states in the country where the debt to state GDP ratio is almost 40%. Debt is almost 40% of the state GDP, one of the highest in the country. And now they are in a scenario where they can't even pay their own, they can't pay state employees, they can't pay outstanding debts. And this is where one of the few states the Congress party has been ruling, has been taken to. They are keeping on giving more and more promises before elections, before each state elections. And the last 4 situations they haven't delivered. They haven't even acted on it. So this party has zero intention to act. They are fooling the public. They are scamming the public. While the Bharatiya Janata Party is for growth, for development, for redistribution, where we believe in inclusive development and taking people forward.
Yes, Mr. Antony, you said you're not against freebies. So are you agreeing that these are freebies? These are meant only for catching votes.
We have made something. See, Bharatiya Janata Party doesn't believe in just distribution for the sake of it. We believe in creating sustainable capacity. You look at some of the things we have done as a part of our delivery and schemes, like I already mentioned, the PM Housing Yojana, which already got over crores of beneficiaries. The Jal Jeevan Mission, again crores of beneficiaries. Again our gas connection, toilet connections, again crores of beneficiaries. Then we are creating digital public infrastructure. We are creating digital goods. So what we are doing, it's actually a service to the people, which is sustainable, which is hard capacity.
Has maintained.
And alongside that, let's say in Madhya Pradesh,
has maintained that this is empowerment. So it's not a freebie. But I'll come back to the question
yes,
that
we
I was
are empowering
asking.
the people.
Sure,
where
but I'll
we
come
are
back to the question
focusing on
that
growth.
I had asked to begin with. How do we decide what is empowerment and what is freebie? How does one party's promise become a freebie and the other party's promise become a welfare scheme or empowerment?
See, when you give a house, when you give a tap, when you create a toilet, when you give tap water connections, when you give gas connections, when we give digital public infrastructure, this is not a one-time thing. This is something that is sustainable, that goes on for a long time. And these are the kind of things which we focus on, along with our growth trajectory, along with creating hard infrastructure again, along with our infrastructural and developmental processes. But you look at the Congress manifesto, they don't have a vision or a direction to create any of those things. You're only trying to, let's say, bribe the voter before the election by saying we will give you this rupee, that rupee, we will give you 1,000 rupee for this scheme, that scheme, etc. And then alongside that, sadly this party hasn't delivered on any of the scenarios where they came to governance after an election. In Himachal, in Karnataka, even Madhya Pradesh, the last time they came to power, they haven't delivered. They promised a lot of things and they are just scamming the people. They are not delivering. So this party has no intention
I'll get
to even
Reddy
say
as well
what
in
they
on
are.
this, that the BJP says, Mr. Reddy, that we are empowering people because we're thinking of long term. We're not just handing out doles or giving money in the hands of people, because that's a one-time thing and that's only meant to lure voters, and that's where it ends. They're also citing examples of other states where you've made these promises, including Himachal Pradesh. And what happened to that?
The people of Telangana are not prepared to have this Manipur model of manifesto or Manipur model of BJP administration.
Now
People have enough witnessed. People have enough witnessed. See, the model which they always cite. So I have just now seen that BJP spokesperson is making rounds around toilets several times. I don't know, they don't have better terms other than toilets. Why? Because they don't have much thing to say. What their empowerment is all about, privatizations. All their empowerment is all about Adani's and Ambani's enrichments. What did they do? What did they do? So if you just compare the MSP for the farmers, and if you just compare the three black laws of farmers, so what are all these?
Sure.
What made Honorable Prime Minister to come forward and say or apologize to the people? So these are all the faults which are being done by BJP, and we don't want to give much space because there is no space for BJP in Telangana. But
Sure.
let me just highlight the points which VRS spokesperson addressed. Like he mentioned Raitu Bandhu. In fact, Raitu Bandhu is a scheme copied from 2018 Congress Party's manifesto of page number 5. It's a point number 18. And today, after copying our point, they come up with this scheme and says that it is our innovation. Okay, let us put it forward like that. But the total budget, what they allocated or given or sanctioned for that scheme is 72,000 crores. And Kalyan Lakshmi, what he mentioned, in this total decade, they have given 1,300 crore rupees.
Sure, so
only.
they're accusing you
That
of
means
copy-paste, but Krishank Mane, you haven't delivered on the promises you made. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time, but 30 seconds for a rebuttal before I close this. Krishank Mane.
Well, see, when Congress doesn't have anything to say, they will just manufacture lies. We have executed. I am talking about the execution of the schemes. Congress, which was there for 50 above years in this nation, is saying that we've kept it in the manifesto. Why did you deliver then? The whole point of
come to power.
They
You people are elected.
Sir, you're on a national channel.
We are
Please
not in
behave.
power.
Have some dignity.
Sure.
No, we are not in power.
Sure.
Don't-
We're not in power. We're
don't show
making
your
these promises. That
don't show your
brings
intellectual
me
bankruptcy.
back to the question: is this all about luring voters before elections and not really about ensuring that they're implemented? And that really leaves the
Poonamji, I
voter,
haven't finished.
and that really leaves the voter wanting. But Mr. Mane, yes, go ahead.
See, they have whole 42 pages, a 420 document of the Congress. They have failed in delivering all these. Today they come up with, be like a state government. Sir, have some audacity to listen. Don't show your intellectual bankruptcy here on a national channel, please. So the point is, you announce, you have.
Gentlemen, unfortunately, I do not have any time. Krishank Mane, please just make your point within 20 seconds before I have to wrap this up.
Poonamji, they are a false secular party because they have named one particular religion. Why can't he be silent and listen out at least? You have announced gold for one religion. That shows that you are not a secular party, you are a bogus party. That you have only announced for one particular religion and gold, which cannot happen in reality, but that shows that you are also into appeasement and polarizing politics, and Congress is not a secular politics. It does not have any kind of secular values.
Sure. So is this all about wooing the voter before the election and not really walking the talk after it? That's a question many voters across the country are asking, but I have to leave it at that. I thank you all, gentlemen, for joining us here on this broadcast. It's time for a quick break here, but on the other side, we have a special super exclusive with Union Minister Piyush Goyal. Don't miss that.
Hello, Moto.